3-cylinder 1.6 litre turbocharged G16 engine puts out 200...
anyone can tell you the specs of a GR Yaris. How much power it makes, how fast it is, what it's like on a racetrack. But only a select few can tell you what it's really like to live with one for 100,000 kilometres. So in today's episode, we'll be going through what they're really like after such a long distance. What's awful? What's awesome? What breaks and wears out? And what features have become a non-negotiable for me in any daily driver moving forward? And how this car has become such an important part of my life and my family. This is what it's like to live with a Toyota GR Yaris for 100,000 kilometres. Before we jump in, here's the current state of my GR Yaris. It's a true daily driver, and if I'm honest, it doesn't get much TLC, let alone washed. And yeah, it's collected its fair share of battle scars over the years. Anyway, let's start with what I don't like about this car. One of the features in this car that has aged like milk in the sun, it's actually been annoying since day dot, to be honest, is the automatic handbrake. So essentially, for those of you who drive manual, you're on a hill, you use your foot on the brake or the handbrake to take off so you don't roll backwards. Well, Toyota must have thought that, people are drivers these days, so let's put on an automatic handbrake for them. But the bad thing about it, right, is if you're at a set of traffic lights, it's on a slight incline. As you go to take off, if you're like pretty quick with taking off, you're now fighting with the car. So the automatic handbrake is still on while you're trying to take off. So if you don't give it enough acceleration, the car can shudder. It's like trying to pull against itself. So that is, if there was a way to turn it off, I'd get rid of it, because it is the worst feature on this car. Another feature that I don't use anymore, but I did when I first came to Sydney to see my now wife, was the Japanese Siri. I call it that. It's the inbuilt navigation. But essentially I would use that to find places and move around Sydney, because it took me a while to realize that I had Apple CarPlay. The inbuilt navigation is not the best. It can lag. It's not always updated with the roads. It's really hard to search and find specific addresses. So I just eventually stopped using it once I discovered Apple CarPlay. Now we'll talk about how the maps can help you avoid peak hour traffic in about 30 seconds. But so can the power. Woo-hoo-hoo! Now, I like to drive with these on, not just situational awareness, but if I'm stuck in peak hour traffic like I am right now, if there are side roads that I can take to potentially avoid some of this, I can see them live on the map and work out a route while I'm driving and looking at the map to avoid all this, if that makes sense. And talking about driving with the seat, there is about a fist height between the top of my head and the roof. Now, when you add a helmet into the mix, there's no room. A lot of people complain, oh, this seat height sucks. And I didn't really look much into it until it came to doing the driver position on my Skyline, and I realized that this does sit quite high. And my wife's CX-3 has more downward adjustment than this does. Yeah, by quite a bit. Oh, my head's getting squished against the roof. Who even needs the seat this high? Yeah, this is cooked. Seats aren't electric, but I mean, who cares? I don't think the seat has ever been that high in 4 years. Oh, that's so much better. I mean, I'm still pretty high up compared to the CX-3. The other annoying feature, which honestly is quite simple to turn off, is the lane guidance. It took me such a long time to work out how to actually turn it off, which you just press and hold it and it switches it off. Though, fun fact, don't recommend you do this, but if you have the lane assistance on and you have the cruise control on, and if you're going around a slight bend, you take your hands off the steering wheel, the car will actually steer itself around the bend. And then it'll beep and tell you to put your hands back on the steering wheel. But don't try that at home, it's very dangerous. The only other real negatives are the fake cabin sound.
which is easy enough to remove with the Carista OBD dongle, or some people say you can take it to your local dealer and they'll remove it for you. And if you like doing track days, they do suffer from heat soak. Oil temperatures can climb quite quickly. Also, once you're over 200 kilometers an hour, the car does start to feel a bit floaty.
Alright, now it's time for dessert. There are a lot of features and elements in this car that I've loved since day one. Some I honestly didn't care about or think I'd ever use, and some that, for me, are now absolute non-negotiables when it comes to having a daily driver. Now, straight out of the box, obviously the first thing that grabbed my attention was the looks. Like anything, like dating, buying a car, we always buy with our eyes. And honestly, even now, it still blows my mind how aggressive such a tiny car can look. I see these things driving on the street today. I'm like, that car's so cool. I'm like, oh wait, I have one. And then second to that is obviously the power. Now, 200 kilowatts this day and age doesn't sound like much, and high-powered cars have kind of killed the car community. But 200 kilowatts in this, which is 150 kilowatts at all four factory, it's uncomprehendable how such a small number can feel so quick. And what I later discovered, and by later I mean the third set of traffic lights that I stopped at after leaving the dealership, is the launch. This thing launches so hard. But look, how it looks, the power, that's all superficial, guys. It's about what's on the inside that counts. So when I first bought this car, I was going from a $500 daily to a $55,000 daily. So it was like two different worlds. The screen, all these buttons, technology.
Tecnologia! Tecnologia!
My other daily had no air conditioning. It took cassettes, that was pretty cool. But essentially it was a piece of shit. Non-negotiables for me. Non-negotiables! That was a terrible Trump impersonation. Heads-up display, keyless entry, and Apple CarPlay / a head unit that I can see visibly well while driving. Now the heads-up display, I didn't realize how good it was until I hopped into a car that didn't have one. Because on this one, I'll try and show you a picture, I'll try and get a shot of it. You have your tacho, how fast you're going, the speed limit in the area. If you turn off the lane guidance, you have a compass. And if you're using Japanese Siri with the directions will come up on the heads-up display, the volume, what song you're playing. It literally puts everything onto the windscreen, so you don't need to look at the dash cluster. Like it's safer and probably more convenient as well when you live in a police state like New South Wales, or a country like Australia where speeding is just as bad as killing someone. So it does help you avoid speeding fines to a degree.
One thing I didn't expect to like as much as I do is the heated seats and steering wheel. As soon as it gets even a little bit cold, I put them on straight away. I guess that's one of those modern day comforts I'm definitely used to now. I love the keyless entry too. Whether I'm carrying my daughter or an armful of stuff, it makes getting into the car so easy. It's one of those features I didn't realize I appreciated so much until my wife got her CX-3, which doesn't have it. Now, I'm not insulting my wife's CX-3, it's been a really good car for us. It's just an excellent point of reference.
Shit, where are the not the lemons! Where are these damn keys?
Because there is a 5-year difference between the two cars, and it does show you how much technology can change in such a short time. Now, what you're about to witness will make some of you squirm. Though, fear not. This isn't my first rodeo, and some could argue that I've done a lot worse.
Now, when it comes to the practicality of a car, there are two contributing factors. You have the car and the driver. Now, I find that what limits the practicality of a car the most is the driver. I'm not saying that you need to be as frivolous as I am with well, what you put in your car, in my case, my GR Yaris, but I'm trying to get my money's worth, you know, with its practicality and its performance. And if you own a Rally E, completely different story. There is no way that I would have transported what I have in this car if this was a Rally E.
Now, it's not just a lawnmower and whippersnipper that I put in my GR Yaris. There's an array of items, some of which you're probably like, why would he do that? And they are things like a Facebook Marketplace K24 engine, a 44-gallon drum, a gym squat rack, bricks, bottle crates, yes, the ones you see in this trailer, believe it or not, you could fit 6 in a GR Yaris. Excess household rubbish. Shelving, yes, the ones that I use in my office. I even used it to move house. And of course, my camera and film equipment. It really is such a practical car. If you're as crazy as I am to push it to its limits. You know, unlike a lot of GR owners, I actually never planned on buying a GR Yaris. I bought it on a complete whim. But that split-second decision ended up changing my life forever.
Let's put shoes on, eh? Ready? We put one shoe on, just like that. This way. Hop in. Ready? Let's go. Woohoo! You all strapped in, ready to go?
What started out as a whim purchase and the biggest debt I've ever taken on, all because I modified my previous daily, quickly became more than just a car. This GR Yaris gave me the freedom to leave Adelaide and return to my hometown Tamworth, after serving in the Australian Army for 5 years as an infantry soldier. Returning home and living there also meant I got to spend more time with mum and dad and make more memories at my childhood home.
I don't understand. Why isn't it working?
You try the carby?
Oh, prime the carby.
Dad and I worked on many projects together, one of which was a garage to keep the GR in. And during my time there, Dad got a little taste of what the car had to offer.
Are you going to send it later? The car?
Later, as life evolved, I met my now wife, and back then, I was driving from Tamworth to Sydney every fortnight to see her. Once we got married, I moved to Sydney, and the Yaris became more than just my car. It became me and my wife's main car, my business car, my content car, and of course, the grocery getter. As my content started to grow, I used the Yaris to film for brands I was collaborating with, and when my daughter was born, I picked up both her and my wife from the hospital in the Yaris. You know, you've got to set the standard with things like that. Around the same time, I started chasing my motorsport dreams while juggling work and family. That's where I really got to stretch the legs of the Yaris, and test both its limits and my own on the racetrack. And as you've already seen, it definitely hasn't lived an easy life. It's been asked to do far more than it should. But no matter what I've thrown at it, the Yaris continues to show up every time. But when a car has to do everything, maintenance and wear and tear become a part of the story too.
This is probably the part you've all been waiting for. So, maintenance, wear and tear, and what breaks. Maintenance is quite simple. It's every 10,000 kilometers. You have cap price servicing up to, I think it's 50,000 kilometers, which is around $250 per service. And then afterwards, you can take it back to a dealership, or you can do it yourself, like I have, if you have mechanical knowledge. Now, the disadvantage with that is you won't have your perfect service history. So if you go to resell your Yaris, it can affect the resale value. As for this part of the car, what breaks? Let's start simple with these tiny little clips here on the front bar that over time just break and pull apart. Now, if you look at this, there actually is quite a lot of tension in the front bumper. So it makes sense, vibrations, getting hot, cold, and just falling apart. Now, as for the gearbox, there is an arguably common problem with the second gear synchro going. Mine went around 55,000 kilometers. It just kept popping out of second gear. It wasn't too bad, and it got really bad really quickly. Now, this was done under warranty. I've heard stories of people not getting theirs accepted under warranty, but off camera I have had, he accidentally admitted, a Toyota official, that there is a fault with the gearbox. Think what you want, say what you want. I argue that it's a fault with the second gear synchro. So I'm on my second gearbox, and I'm also on my third clutch. The first one, the OEM clutch, just wore out because I was hard on the car, launching it all the time, rinsing out every single gear. The second clutch, which was an aftermarket one and a single mass flywheel conversion, well, the springs broke because the person who fitted the clutch didn't do it properly. And the third clutch, which is on there now, is back to a dual mass flywheel. As for what I prefer or what's better between single mass flywheel and dual mass flywheel, I will touch on later when I speak about modifications. As for something like tires and brakes, I really do think it's an experiences may vary basis. If you're at the track with your Yaris every single weekend or even once a month, you're gonna burn through tires and brakes a lot quicker than someone like myself, who I've only done 2 track days and 1 drag day in this car. And these heated tires are my second set. I'm still on the OEM rotors, and I'm on my second set of brake pads. Now, as you can see, these tires are, well and truly due for replacement. I actually use these tires to go around Eastern Creek, so that's why my time wasn't the best. And as for the rotors, well, they do have quite a deep ledge on them. I was told when I've got the first clutch put in this that they need replacing, and I just haven't done it. And while we're here, well, you can see that the wheels are in very rough shape. I went so long without scratching these, and I put on one little scratch, and since then I've just been collecting gutter rash. That, and also you probably shouldn't treat a roundabout like it's a rally circuit. As for the wear and tear on the inside of the car, it's actually not too bad. Like, there's a hole near the footrest in the carpet. That's obviously from your foot going there all the time. There is a hole in the passenger seat, which is surprising that there's no hole in the driver's seat. There is a slight bit of wear on the material here, but that's neither here nor there. And a couple of scratches and dust. And the door trims right near where the handle is have worn down and are quite smooth and shiny now. But again, like, it's just small cosmetic stuff. There's nothing big and bad that's broken or worn out in this car, really. Now, considering what this car's been through, both age, kilometers, and the owner effect, it's held up pretty good. But there is something in the back here, in the boot, that does make it a little bit harder to live with. And as trivial as that sounds, that is the boot insert. Now, as you can see, it has warped quite a bit. And if you come down here, you can see wear marks from where the seal has come loose. So I'll show you. The seal will come off sometimes, and it will sit there, hence the wear marks. And you can see some dirt and debris that has collected over time. So why that's become an issue is because it's warped and the seal can come loose and not sit where it's supposed to. It does make the hatch quite hard to shut, or sometimes it won't shut at all. So you need to make sure the seal's in there properly, and then you can shut it. Even sometimes it does require a little bit more effort. I've just noticed it over time, and that water has pooled around the battery. But I mean, you just go buy a new boot insert, but I'm probably still gonna keep putting things in this car that I shouldn't, so I'm not gonna replace it yet. Now, to finish off the wear and tear, generally speaking around the car, it has picked up a lot of scratches, stone chips, and there are some cracks in the paint. However, for a car that has over 100,000 kilometers, that is to be expected. Like, there's a fat stone chip on the mirror, which I picked up driving back to Tamworth. There's stone chips on the front bumper. But at the end of the day, honestly, with what I've put this car through and honestly how I've treated it both on and off the track, this has held up really well. And what has worn out, with the exception of the gearbox, I guess you could say, it's really nothing. Like what? There's a hole in the seat, in the carpet, and there's a couple of broken clips. Like, that's honestly small stuff. And the gearbox, again, if you wanna, argue with me in the comment section, go for it. Like, that is a Toyota fault. But I mean, yeah, these things are tough. They really are tough.
Now, you don't buy a car like this for fuel economy, but the GR Yaris's efficiency is still surprisingly good. Even after 100,000 kilometers, it's held up well. I'll admit, I'm not exactly the most economical driver, but I still average around 7.8 litres per 100 when it comes to freeway driving and about 9.7 litres per 100 in the city. Now this surprisingly is actually more economical than my wife's CX-3. And fun fact for you, as for the overall range, for the 50 litre fuel tank, the most I've ever gotten from one tank was 621 kilometres. But that was taking the car all the way to empty. I'm talking side of the road, call an Uber, no more fuel kind of empty.
Now, as for modifications, as I mentioned earlier, I do have an aftermarket clutch in this. And the first clutch I put in was a single mass flywheel conversion. Now, they rattle a lot, especially at low RPM taking off around the 2,700 to 4,000 RPM mark. The whole car vibrates, like you feel it through the entire drivetrain. So you actually have to change the way you drive to adapt to that. But even then, it still vibrates so much. In saying that, the single mass flywheel I've found is way better for launching. Like it's much better for aggressive driving and track driving. Now, as for the dual mass that's now in it, the vibration's gone, which is a nice change. However, when it comes to launching, I mean, I haven't really launched this, but even if you take off a bit quickly, the noises that come out of the front end are not nice. I'm not sure if it's because it's the dual mass like fighting against itself, but it does make a lot of questionable noises. So if it's not a daily driver and it's a track car, you're like, you know, driving it hard, single mass all the way. Some will say that they're not the best because they can lead to snapping the input shaft off the gearbox, but everyone has their 2 cents about that. Now, when I did the first clutch replacement, I also did put in a Golibee's downpipe and midpipe. Now, that general modification, recommend. That specific brand, do not recommend. Because there's no flex in the downpipe, I ended up cracking the turbo oil drain, which is a problem that comes from that. Now, I've broken 3 of them, but then Artec sent me out one of their new ones, which has fixed the problem. Now, as for the mid-pipe, I'm not sure if you noticed in some of those shots where I'm talking, you can hear a rattle.
Since day dot, to be honest, is the automatic handbrake.
That's the mid-pipe. It has a flex joint in it, but even when they fitted it, I remember I moved it and it made a sound and they're like, nah, I'll be fine. It wasn't fine. It's been rattling and carrying on and making all sorts of noises since I've had it fitted. Now, I did have a catback on it as well, which means I had a complete turbo back system. Now, the catback was cool. These are stupid loud if you don't have like a proper muffler in them. I think cold start was like 98 decibels. Obviously, I haven't tuned the car, so my fuel economy was like tanked. Like I lost 100 Ks per tank with the full turbo back system. Now, when I did fit downpipe, it is a 100 cell cat. I only had the check engine light come on once and I cleared it and it was fine. So yes, you can drive these with a downpipe and mid-pipe without a tune. Obviously you get more from the modification with a tune, but I still get pretty good mileage from a tank with the downpipe and no tune.
So there's this Turkish saying, it goes, ne aradığını bilmiyorsan, bulduğun hiçbir şey yeterli olmaz. In English, it translates to, if you don't know what you're looking for, whatever you find won't be enough. Now, I think this car is the only exception to that because I didn't know what I was looking for. I had 0 expectations, but this has exceeded all of them. It is such a practical, fun, and economical car. I can technically fit my wife and my daughter in here. She's in the back right now, hanging out. I can put things in it. I use this for my work car. I put all my camera equipment in it, my lighting, audio, and then I can rinse it on the way to a job, on the way back from a job, on the way to pick up my daughter from daycare. Or I can drive this car from home to a track day, to a drag day, to any event on the basis that you obviously don't crash it. I can drive it back home. It is just, I mean, the car cost me 55 grand, which at the time, my infinite wisdom was like, you know what? I'm gonna put $1,000 deposit down so I can, have more money in my account to put towards the house. Little did I know that if you have a loan, that quite severely affects the money that you can borrow. So then I had a lot to pay off. Anyway, the car's paid off now. Have I got my 55 grand's worth? You know what? I think we're close. I think we're close. I think we're pretty close. Because this car has done so much for me. It has treated me better than I've treated it. And I think a lot of the credit goes to Toyota for that. But I would also say that this car, this Gen 1 or the Toyota GR Yaris, is the Hilux of performance cars. Yeah, you can't beat this.
Oh, is it? I shall put on silent, shouldn't I? Alright. It's even like the cake. Oh no, it's falling off. I'm gonna try and light them more. You know what, I'm gonna just... So I had this rule that I wouldn't modify this car till it hit 100,000 kilometres, which it now has done. So, which means
Clearly,
evidently, I'm now going to modify it. Maybe. My wife is shaking her head. Anyway, done some cake? Done some cake? So, how do you feel about the Yaris hit 100,000 kilometres?
honestly, I have this rule where like I wasn't going to modify it until it hit 100k. And it's hit 100k. So, thinking I'll modify it, I'm thinking of adding a triple turbo.
Triple turbo?
Yeah.
What else?
An intercooler. Always wanted one of those.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
What else?
Might be expensive, but I don't know. We'll see. What else? Thinking of adding a double muffler. A gearbox. I heard those are really good. What else? I hope you guys liked my video today. Thank you all for your support, and like and hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell, the notification bell, so that when I upload you guys hear about it. Anyway, Jonesy out.